Hey there, brilliant people. So today's question is, what are the three trusts? So the three trusts is something I've been meaning to make this video for you for ages. In fact, I thought I already had. Anyway, so the three trusts are a way to, if you like, understand a healthy system of relationships. It helps you understand your relationship with yourself as well as your relationship with other people. So a lot of us can get ourselves into trouble with our relationships because we assume if we can trust somebody to pick up the milk when they say they're going to, that means that we can trust them across the board. And actually, for reasons of what goes on in our head and the patterns of our behavior, there's actually three levels of trust. So the first level of trust is operational trust. That's exactly what I said before, that doing what you say you're going to do. So if you say you're going to pick up the milk, you pick up the milk. If you say you're going to give your friend back that $20 that they lent you on Tuesday, you give it back to them on Tuesday. So this, of course, a lot of people would describe you as reliable, but it actually, without that level of basic operational trust, your relationship isn't even functional because you can't rely on it. There's nothing that you can build on. So it doesn't mean that people, that you can like people who don't have that first level of trust, but there's nothing to build on. So because, as I said, without that first level of trust, the relationship isn't even functional. Okay, so if we do have that level of trust though, if the person does say they're going to do what they say they're going to do, and remember, it's important for you to say what you're going to do for yourself as well, because without that, you're not sure really. It's really hard for you to program your own life or to figure out where you want to go in life. Anyway, getting off topic. All right, so once we have that first level of trust, what's the second level? So the second level of trust is what I call shadow trust. So shadow trust is your ability to tell the difference between your shite and your shiny. So your shite is all of that stuff, all the negative self-talk, all the stuff that, it isn't who you really are. Sometimes it might not look like shite on the surface because you're beating you're going, I'm the greatest, whatever. But it's coming from your ego. It's coming from a sense of you that's not real. That is your shite, and your shiny is the part of you that is connected to who you really are. And how do we tell the difference between your shite and your shiny? Well, until we can tell that difference, it's really hard to have shadow trust because we need to know that it's our shiny self that's making the choices, or their shiny self that's making the choices. Because very simply, if your shite self is making the choices, you're going to end up with more shite. If your shiny self is making the choices, well, you're going to end up with more shiny. And there are a few different ways of being able to learn how to make that distinction. The way that we use, that I teach, that we teach in Fractology is by using the soul seed. If you don't know how to do that, I'll put a link below. There is some meditations on the website that you can learn how to do that. If you haven't read my book, pick up the book, and because that'll tell you how to do it. And if you have read the book, maybe leave a review on Amazon. Anyway, so with the second level of trust, you want to be able to reliably, now that you keep your agreements, you want to know it's your shiny self that is making the agreements. So that is the second level of trust. And once we start to get good at the second level of trust, it leads us inevitably to the third level of trust. Because the more that we start to make choices from our shiny, we get to be brilliant. So when we get to brilliant trust, it means that we trust that self. We recognize when it's our shiny making that choice. So we know, well, it may not always work out the way we expect, but we know it's going to make more shiny. And the more that we do that, though, there is a skill set that goes along with that, because we want to be able to be our shiny self, our most brilliant self, without necessarily triggering, well, some not so useful reactions. Other people will tend to react to your brilliance from either jealousy or inadequacy, or the one we're looking for, inspiration. So when we're being shiny and it actually inspires someone else to be shiny, that's how you create that mutually expansive relationship that I'm often talking about. So until we develop mutual brilliant trust, it's hard to have those relationships that are based on mutual expansion. So it can take a while, because there are skill sets to learn with developing each of these levels of trust. I mean, the first one, obviously, remember what you agree to and do it. So maybe don't agree to things you don't really want to do. The second level of trust, shadow trust, learning to tell the difference between your shite and your shiny. The third level of trust, well, once you learn how to make choices from your shiny, learn how to spread the shiny around so it inspires others. These are the three skill sets that go along with the three levels of trust. So practice those, have a read of The Soul's Brain so that you can develop these three levels of trust if you haven't already. And whatever you do, remember that you're brilliant.